just by way of introduction, my name is Rob McGowan. I'm the partner manager here at Icotech. So I oversee basically all of the commercial aspect of the business, so business development, marketing, content generation, all of that type of good stuff. And then we're joined today by Chris Tompkins, who I'll allow him a few seconds to introduce himself.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, as Rob said, my name is Chris Tompkins. I'm the head of Power Platform Development here at Icotech, basically involved in anything to do with Power Platform, Power Apps, Power Automate, a bit of Power BI here and there. Yeah, make sure everything's ticking along.
Bit of a jack of all trades really for Icotech,
Pretty
aren't you,
much.
Chris? You get very involved in a lot of different things, anything related to Power Platform though. So no doubt there'll be some gaps in my knowledge here, but hopefully Chris will jump in and save me if I'm putting my foot in my mouth too much as a non-technical resource. Thank you ever so much for the introduction, Chris. Thanks for joining me today. Just a little bit of information about our approach here at Icotech. So we have a very simple set of values that we work towards. For us, it's very much we like building relationships and networking with people. Hence why we deliver these webinars on a weekly basis and try and have as many conversations and help in any way that we can, whether it's through conversation or through consultancy or various other means. Very committed to tools and systems, so everything that we kind of show you today is either tools that we're currently using ourselves or tools and systems that we've developed and deployed for our customers. We love ideas and information. We have an internal kind of ideas hub where we go to put ideas and share things out. So if there's any feedback following this webinar, if you've got ideas or things you'd like to see in the future, please send them across to us. We'd definitely like to find out a little bit more from our audience in terms of what your ideas are and what you'd like to see more of in the future. Research and innovation, we do an awful lot of that with our clients and our prospective clients, and people and collaboration. Of course, we all know that people are very much at the heart of the business, whether that's internally or externally. So we're very committed to the people that we work with, the people that we work for, and the people that we work alongside every day, and then learning and sharing, obviously, these weekly webinar sessions for those of you that have joined us before. I think I saw a few people that have been to previous webinars joining in the lobby. Will know that we're very much committed to learning and sharing the knowledge that we pick up. So we deliver these sessions once a week, and we're very kind of keen to do more around sharing the knowledge that we've developed over our time. Our offering, so Icotech as a business, kind of what do we offer? So we offer four main things really: solutions, products, consultancy, and various different services. So just very quickly to let you know about the solutions that we do. So the Power App that we're going to show you today is an example of something that we're using internally, but we build technical solutions using the 365 environment to really leverage that power of the Microsoft ecosystem. We're a 365 Gold implementation partner with a Gold competency in PPM development as well. Products, so we're in the infancy stage really of developing our own line of SaaS products. So everything from project management solutions. We've got a desktop and app that we're going to show you an example of today, and we're dabbling in a few other sort of products that are not quite ready to talk about yet, but these are things that we're going to be offering to our clients in the coming years. Consultancy, we have an awful lot of experience within the Icotech team in digital transformation, so really committed to helping businesses and organizations mature their digital thinking. So obviously, this is increasing value, driving down costs, realizing benefits, and more importantly, understanding the processes and the getting those pieces right before we go and deliver those technical solutions that we mentioned earlier. And then finally, services. So we do a lot around supporting businesses to help streamline their 365 environment, develop applications, support applications that we've developed or that somebody else has developed in their environment, and just ensure those critical functions are always on. And we do this very much in a support and iterative approach. So that's just a little bit about our approach. To give you some information about our clients and who we work with. So we've been working quite extensively with the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy for some time now. We've done some work for the Office for National Statistics, Betty's and Taylor's Group, who are the manufacturers of Yorkshire tea. We've done some local work as well with one of our partners here in Learning Disabilities Wales, Simbec, Orion, ACAS, and the Intellectual Property Office, just to name a few to give you an idea of the types of clients that we work with and the types of organizations that we've helped in the past. So the Power Platform, we're not going to do a deep dive today on the Power Platform and what it consists of, but just to give everybody a very kind of high level overview of the Power Platform. it really does consist of these 4 key components that are highlighted along the top here. So we have Power BI, which is your business intelligence, reporting tool. I would think that most people that we've probably got on the call today have seen or at least heard about Power BI in some type of way or format. But this is all about, visualizing data, drawing conclusions from it, and allowing you to slice and integrate your data, etc. Power Apps then, so application development. This is the second component of the Power Platform, which is what we're going to talk to you today about, and obviously give you a bit of a demo of an example of a Power App that we've done. So this really is the platform that allows users to create and deploy tailored applications, and they can be used on desktop and mobile application on mobile devices as well, sorry. And this really, from Microsoft's end, is about creating that citizen developer mentality, so that everybody in an organization has the ability to go in and spot a business problem and build either a very, very simple or a very, very complex application to help make their work processes better. The third component then is Power Automate. So this was previously known as Microsoft Flow. This is all about automating those processes, and they all fit very, very nicely together when you look at building a Power App, for example, like the one we've got today to show you. This is all about automating processes and allowing to kind of streamline that manual input of data that's happening. Power Virtual Agents then is the fourth component, which we've done a couple of webinars previously about the power and the kind of the opportunity that presents itself with Power Virtual Agents. So if you'd like to go and check that out, I'm pretty sure they're on our YouTube channel, and they should also be available on the website as well for you to go and have a look through. So we're not going to talk too much about that today. And then it's underpinned by those 3 things as well. I can't find an updated graphic anywhere online since Microsoft have changed the name from Common Data Service to Dataverse. So unfortunately, we have to make do with a slightly out-of-date image, which is rather frustrating. So if anybody has a link to an image that is similar to this but contains Dataverse instead of Data Service, please send me a message after the webinar. I'd be very keen to get my hands on that. So that's just a very, very high level view of the Power Platform, what it consists of and what it contains. So Power Apps, which is what we're going to talk today about, how this can help improve and streamline hybrid working. So as we talked about, it's a suite of apps, services, connectors in the data platform that provides rapid application development. I'm not going to read this word for word. This is just a bit of information taken from Microsoft's website just to provide a little bit of insight about Power Apps. So I'm going to leave this on screen for a few seconds just to give everybody an opportunity just to read through and make sure that they kind of consume this. Hopefully everybody's had opportunity now to read that. If there's anybody that wants to go back to it, I'll send the slides out after the session anyway to make sure that you can go and have a good read through that. So Power Apps connections, I wanted to just kind of share a little bit of information about what can Power Apps connect to. Where else can you go outside of Microsoft or inside of Microsoft to go and connect these Power Apps? And unfortunately, there's so many, it was impossible to find a graphic that really displayed it in a fair way. So hopefully you can see just from the image on the right there, there'll definitely be some logos in there. I think that people will recognize you're probably either using some of these tools now or you've used them previously in a previous life. So of course, we can connect to the standard things that you would expect within Microsoft. So we've got things like Excel, Dynamics 365, but you've also got outside applications like Google Chrome, Google Drive, for instance. Bing search, lots and lots, MailChimp, there's hundreds and hundreds of things that Power Apps can connect to, and there's a range of different versions of each of those applications, whether they're on-prem or cloud, and there's lots of clever tricks that Chris and his team use to go and connect to those data sources. So the short version of what can it connect to within reason, it can connect to hundreds, if not thousands of different applications and data sources. So just moving on a little bit to talk about hybrid working, and I was 50-50 around what to do here in terms of what is hybrid working, because if you speak to different people, everyone has a different version of hybrid working, and everyone has a different take on what hybrid working means to them. And I think for most of us, hybrid working is that combination of working remotely, but also working in the office. And I think we're obviously, a lot of us now have been forced into this hybrid working model as a result of COVID. But there may be people on the call or people that have joined us since we started the webinar that are in a situation where you're not hybrid working, and you may be in an industry where that's not feasible, or that's not required, or you may have a very, very good policy in your office that allows everybody to come in and still work full time safely. But so hybrid working, without trying to dictate what it is to you, I think it's really just about understanding, everybody has a different take on it. So everybody's version and everybody's answer to this question will be a little bit different. So when I was looking into that, then I was trying to find out a little bit of data around hybrid working and what that means for employers moving forward. So what this is going to look like, what's being done about it at the moment. And I came across a couple of interesting statistics here, which are on the screen. So 83% of US employers are considering flexible working arrangements at a greater scale than they did prior to the pandemic, which is really interesting. And I'm not 100% sure if I expected that number to be higher or lower. I think it's just a really interesting statistic to go and understand that actually the overwhelming majority are considering that flexible work arrangement at a greater scale. So obviously it's a very hot topic at the moment. Everybody's talking about hybrid working, remote working. Will we ever go back to the office? These types of questions. 73% of them also obviously plan to implement a hybrid work environment. I mean, to speak for ourselves here at Icotech, we've always been a hybrid organization, and we'll, unless something drastic changes, we'll always plan to be a hybrid work organization as well. But it's great to see that so many other employers are planning to implement that hybrid work environment. And then 42% plan to focus managerial and employee training on leading and working in a virtual or blended environment. And that's a really interesting statistic, because if you consider how many are looking at changing their work arrangements versus how many are planning on managerial and employee training about how to succeed in that environment, it's just really interesting to see that it's it's almost half of those that are planning the work arrangement at a greater scale are also planning some real training on management and employees to leading and working in a hybrid way, which is a very, very interesting statistic that I came across. And there's lots and lots of data out there, and as I said, everybody has a different take on what hybrid working is, what it looks like, what it means to them, and all of that good stuff. So what are the challenges of hybrid working? Again, it's very difficult to try and find or try and create a one size fits all answer to the challenges of hybrid working. I've put together some of the ones that we've come across here in Icotech, and that I've come across in a previous life before working here. And some of the top three that I came up with is the culture, connectivity, and productivity. I think everything that you go and read about online, or every podcast that you listen to, if you're in that space, where you try and understand what are some of the challenges of hybrid work, and whether you're in a small organization or if indeed you're in a large organization, one of the things that always crops up is culture. How do we keep the culture of our company going? How do we continue to improve our culture? And that's everything from mental well-being of our staff all the way through to team social events, things like that. So one of the real big challenges of hybrid working in this way is the culture. How do you maintain it? How do you continue to grow it? How do you improve it? And how do you make sure that everybody is really feeling and really bought in and invested in that culture that you've worked so hard as an organization to go and create? A second consideration then that I came up with from reading everything was connectivity. How do we keep people connected in this new hybrid, digital, remote working world. And lots of different businesses have tackled this challenge in lots and lots of different ways. Everything from, and there's some crazy solutions out there where, some organizations have gone to giving every employee a mobile phone. Other organizations have just made it very, very easy to go and collaborate through tools like Teams or Zoom. I think that was one of the knee-jerk responses in a lot of industries actually, was to make sure that they had video conferencing capabilities. So Teams, obviously, that we're using today. It's safe to assume that everybody on the call today has heard of Teams. Zoom, all of these other platforms that you can use for that. But then also, how are we going to do our meetings internally? How are we going to do our daily conference calls, if that's something that you have as an organization? And there's some really creative and some really inventive solutions out there. But I think every organization recognized to some extent that keeping people connected in this new way of working with the pandemic. Apologies, my mind went completely blank there. Keeping everybody connected is something that's obviously one of the key challenges for every organization. And then productivity as well. Every time you go and have a conversation with someone, or you read an article online about what are the challenges of hybrid working, and what are some of the creative solutions that organizations are coming up with to tackle them, one of the biggest questions always comes back around to productivity. And it's an interesting question that gets asked across the chain, both from management to end users to senior stakeholders in the organization. Everybody wants to talk about, understand, and improve, streamline their productivity. So these are just a few of the challenges that people face nowadays with hybrid working. Obviously, there's a huge amount of different challenges, as I kind of mentioned, everything from employee well-being through to mental health, through to productivity outputs, just doing the daily tasks that you have no issue being able to do in an office. Is it harder at home? Is it easier? Are people enjoying the work-life balance? There's lots and lots of things that need to be considered when it comes to hybrid working and the challenges of it. But these are just a few that I've come up with, just for the interest of not spending an hour here talking to you about why it's difficult or some of the problems that we're having, because ultimately I think a lot of us are going to be facing very, very similar issues and trying to tackle them in various different ways. So how can Power Apps help with hybrid working? And this is a really, really interesting question, and obviously the main point of the conversation piece here today. And very, very high level, it can help by integrating with multiple third-party applications. For example, we looked at some of the things that Power Apps can connect to earlier on. If you've got marketing systems, if you've got finance systems, all of these different systems that you're probably going to be using across your organization, Power Apps can help because it integrates with a lot of those very, very seamlessly, and it can be done with very, very little work in a lot of cases to build an application, or to go and procure an application that will allow you to integrate with those systems and those processes. It can help allow for better collaboration. Obviously, one thing that we can definitely say with confidence across the call here today is that everybody is using Teams in some capacity, whether it's in their personal life or in their work life. Everybody on the call today is obviously familiar with Teams and the collaboration that can bring. And we've seen over the last sort of 12 to 18 months, some of the conversations that we've been having with our partners and the organizations we work with, is that collaboration piece can really, really be taken to the next level by using Power Apps and integrating it with tools like Teams. And we've seen everything from really clever sort of pub quiz apps that have been built, through to employee incentive reward schemes that are being managed using Power Apps in Teams. Some organizations are managing to do very, very complex project management using Power Apps and using some of the integrations with Teams and Planner and all of these kind of different tools. And then finally, I jotted down on here that it can help to streamline a lot of those processes and automate certain tasks. And it's a little bit cheeky because I know we're talking almost exclusively today about Power Apps and how that can help with streamlining hybrid working, but it would be crazy to overlook that other component in the Power Platform that we talked about earlier, which is Power Automate. There's lots and lots of different things that happen on a very repeatable way in a lot of organizations. And a lot of the partners that we're working with and seeing some of these solutions that are coming out is, using automation through a Power App to make some of those, daily checklists, HR checklists, holiday booking processes, and automating those and automating the approvals and things like that. There's an awful lot of things that Power Apps can do to help with hybrid working. It's really just a case of understanding a little bit more about, what are your challenges. And I really didn't want to go too deep on this exercise today to try and find a one-size-fits-all solution to say this is the Power App that will make hybrid working better for you or your organization, because I think we all know that unfortunately there is no one-size-fits-all solution. Every organization, every person, every stakeholder has different challenges. These are just a few examples and a few kind of ideas and things to hopefully get your brain thinking about how Power Apps could potentially help you as an organization. So as I mentioned, some of those examples there, whether it's, if you have a checklist for people that are coming into your organization as visitors, for example, Power Apps can help with that. We could either work with you could build it yourself, an application that would allow you to have that checklist ready and available and shareable through tools like SharePoint or Teams, etc. So there's 100 more examples that we could come up with, and I'm not going to spend the remainder of the session just listing them off for you. But if this is something that you're curious about, this is really the best opportunity, I think, to understand that this is something that we as a Microsoft partner can probably help with. If you're having those challenges, feel free to open a dialogue with us following the webinar. I think everybody should be getting followed up with a quick email and hopefully a survey just to see if there's challenges that you're having. So lots and lots of different ways that Power Apps can help with hybrid working. But what we're going to do today is just give you a bit of an example of something that we've done to help with the hybrid working challenges that we've had here at Icotech. So with that being said, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Chris now, who's hopefully going to seamlessly take away my screen share and give you an example of what we've done here at Icotech, which is just a very, very simple desk booking application. We're in a position now as an organization. We've recently actually moved our headquarters down to Cardiff Bay, which has been a great move for us. But the situation that we're in is that we're liking the idea of having these bookable desks so that you're not hard committing resources to a desk on a regular basis. So that being said, Chris, are you okay if I hand over to you now to give everyone a bit of a show and tell of the desk booking app that we've done?
Oh, of course, Rob. Yeah, I'll take over. Hi, everyone. Yes. So what you can see on screen at the moment, this is actually a live version of an internal app that we use for our staff here at Icotech. As you can see, there's sections on it that I won't be opening up, unfortunately, which is to do with our absences and expenses. But what we're going to focus on is the bottom part where we've got desk booking. Pardon me. As you see on the front screen, we've got a bit of a graphic. When we decided to go more into a hybrid kind of desk booking kind of scenario within the company, one of the first questions is, you do have staff that like their desks, like to use a specific desk. So we had a bit of confusion at the beginning where people were booking desks and then sitting other places. So we've added into our application basically a little graphic of our office, or our old office as it were. It needs to be updated, where they can see what desk relates to which position. This also came in handy because obviously when we through the pandemic, obviously we wanted to make sure that the staff were separated, so all the desks were moved. So this gave us a good kind of idea so that people could sit, if you did have those staff that wanted to come to the office but did want to sit further away, we kind of had that planned out. But yeah, I'll stop talking about the graphic because you've been looking at it for about 5 minutes and it doesn't change. It is just a static image. And then what we've got then is our desk booking. So if I select that, what we'll get is a nice little, there we go, right, show up on screen. And then what we've got going down the left-hand side is our desks. As you can see, it goes from A to J, which relates to the arrangement of our desks in the image. And then these are the seats that have been booked by staff. If I go back a week, it gives a bit of a better view of how we use it on a daily basis. So we do this so then obviously everyone in the office can kind of hot desk around the building, sit where they want to, kind of scenario. Plus, obviously, we try to maintain that. We only have a certain number of staff coming in during the current climate, so we kind of limit the amount of people that can come through the door. What we've got, if I go back to this week, which I've kind of demoed, you can see that people are color coded as well. So we've set these up so that you can tell when someone's arrived. So when they arrived, it's a nice little shade of pink. If they're committed, so they're committed to come in, but they haven't arrived yet, they get a nice little shade of blue. And again, you can see that people, when they cancel, they still show up on the chart, but they are crossed out. And then we've also got people who book a desk but don't show up, so then they're booked as a no-show. I don't think we've ever actually had that, but I put it in just to give you a bit of an example. Poor Matthew actually didn't book a desk today, so I booked that and cancelled him. And we've also set up the capability to add visitors into our office. So if we do get a client come into the office, then at least we can know that we can book them somewhere to sit throughout the day. To create a booking, as you can see, all I got to do is click on a day. Once I click on the day, this create booking section will pop up. So I select the requirement. So this is for me to sit down tomorrow. So I got my start date, my end date. So if I did want to extend it to Friday, so I want to book 2 days, I'm committed. Obviously, I'm not traveling yet, but I can't travel in the future. And then we got our booking method. So what you can do with the booking method, there's here at Icotech, we tend to book days, 8 hours in the office. However, you can book a certain amount of hours, a percentage of the capacity, or evenly distribute your hours throughout the 2 different days or a week of sitting at the desk. So we tend to go for our full capacity because we want to book the desk all day. And then all I do is hit book. You get a little booking operation, and there we go. I'm just adding into the diary. And now no one can book this desk because it's at full capacity. Similar again, then if I wanted to cancel this because I won't be in tomorrow, I can just go in and click cancel. I'll get a nice little line through my name, and then that will leave it then for someone else to rebook. So I could go in and book Rob in for the full day. And then Rob's booked in instead of me. So it gives you visibility of when people are booking and cancelling desks. You also have different views that you can have on the screen. So we do have a list view. My personal favorite is this kind of view that we're seeing now. Because the list view is less graphic. It just kind of opens up and tells you when items are booked and what days they're in. If I'm honest with you, it's probably not a view I would use. It doesn't look as graphically nice or pretty as it would be. Sorry. And then what we can do, obviously, we can add in additional resources. So whenever we get a new member of staff join the company, we can add them into the list. And we can also, once obviously we open up the office more to more desks, more staff, we can also add in more desks. You also have the ability to do filters. So you can set up, so if you do have an organization that has, you've got 200 desks in your building, you can filter them down, going through different teams, business units, however the tool is set up. I cancel that off, and then again, kind of going back to the color scheme, you do have a little bit of a legend to tell you. If you notice, there's a lot of greens and great, that means that day was completed, or that resource was completed, or you've got a lot of blues, great, a lot of people have committed to coming into the office, or you might have a lot of cancelled. Then it's kind of, why is everybody cancelling desks? Again, you've got different views as well. So you can go to weekly, daily view. So these again will show you who's turning up for this week on that desk. You got an hourly view. Again, it's not really much of a one that we tend to use because we tend to book the full day from 9 till 5. Let me go back to weekly. Not weekly, sorry, daily. And you also have the ability to compact it, just to have a look at what days are free without having to actually look to see who's in, and then rebook those kind of days then, as simple as just clicking on that. So it's a quick and easy tool. A lot of staff do it out of hours at home. You know, if they decide they want to come into the office tomorrow for better collaboration work, they can just log in the evening and book a desk, see what's available, and also as well cancel a desk if they're unable to make it to the office. That pretty much covers the desk booking app. Like I said, it's not a chunky piece, but it's definitely been a bit of a saving grace for us at Icotech in terms of booking desks and making sure that we've got enough room to work.
Thank you ever so much, Chris. And yeah, just to really stress to everybody on the call today, you know, this is not an example of a perfectly polished end-to-end desk booking app that we're looking to sell as a, you know, a piece of SaaS software or anything like that. This is really just about showing, you know, very, very quickly using Power Apps, how can we make something fit for purpose that does the job that it's supposed to do across our organization. And for us, you know, this was a great example. Chris and his team put a little bit of effort into this to get it to a place where actually, very simply now, you know, as a team, we can log into the ICO team app and we've just got everything there. You know, the desk booking is, as you can kind of see on Chris's screen there, is a small portion of it. We've got absences, expenses. We've also got some other bits and pieces in there as well. But this is just to really give you a flavor of the types of things that can be done with Power Apps, and also, you know, what the art of the possible is if you're not a developer. You know, you could potentially, with a little bit of work and a little bit of training, and potentially some support from a partner such as us, you could go away and put something like this into your organization for very, very minimal cost. So that is, as I said, a very, very simple example of something that can be done with Power Apps. There's lots and lots of different ways, though, that we can use Power Apps to help streamline and improve our way of working, especially in this new kind of hybrid world that we find ourselves in. So with that being said, hopefully my screen is going to come back on any second now. Perfect. And I just wanted to talk very, very quickly to those of you on the call today about something still fairly new that we're offering here at Icotech, which is a service we call Power Platform as a Service. We've talked very, very high level about what the Power Platform is and what it consists of, and there's just a little bit of information on the slide here of something that we can do to help work with you if you're interested in, you know, using Power Apps more, or you're interested in using Power BI and getting some value and getting some extra, you know, some extra value from the licenses that you're paying for within 365. We do offer a service now called Power Platform as a Service, which is where we really look to build a long-term relationship with you and work with you in an iterative approach that's flexible to help you go and either develop these applications, train your end users on these applications, you know, everything from building Power Apps to generating Power BI reports for you. You know, we've got lots of different services and offerings that are currently available on the website. So if you have seen anything so far that you just think, actually, do you know what, I'd love to have a conversation about that and what that can kind of look like, there's just a quick bit of information there. Thank you ever so much for joining us. It's been great to have you, and hopefully it's given you a very, very high level introduction to some of the things that Power Apps can do to help with us, help the way that we're working in this current climate. And as I said, if you'd like to see more of these, or you know, really deep dive any specific use cases, shoot either one of us an email at the end of the session, and we'd be happy to kind of talk you through it in a bit more detail. But with that said, thank you ever so much for joining. See a couple of people typing in the chat now, so just make sure these aren't questions. No, I think we're good. Thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Bye now. Bye.